When many were coming to Moshe, they were asking him certain questions, such as, how do we pay our reverences and our respects unto the great God? How do we marry? How do we depart from one that we feel has committed adultery against us, who has been unfaithful? Now, in the precept of as above, so below, which is an outside precept because that was the original translation. In the written works that man has tried to duplicate the written translation, that diverse tongue, which is the holy fire tongue, that translation says, as your will is on earth, so shall it be in heaven, which ultimately means as above, so below. So in that aspect, when we commit adultery or adulterous acts or unfaithful acts with other gods that are lower than the one, e pluribus unum, out of one many. Now that phrase the enemy has used against us, and also used the manipulation of the power of the words, because there's life and death in the power of words. In the Most High's word, you gain great power, whether it be by the Bible, the scrolls, the text of the pyramid, the sayings of the prophets, the book of songs, which is the hidden dialect. When you sing one thing and there's a hidden message behind it, this is highly important and very relevant. And let me just say this. In that motto of the American people, they were using the phrase e pluribus unum because they knew that they have taken one God out of the many gods of Africa and had us to worship and direct our attention on the one. And this is the cause and effect of many households undergoing spiritual warfare, because gods get jealous of other gods. Now, the term God, there are different definitions, 1, 2, and 3, and then there's a definition for Christianity. And in the definitions of gods, first of all, Scripture says that we are gods, and this is accurate. This does not mean we are in union as in the same level of authority of the Most High, but we are in union with Him because we are in duplication of Him. My Father is in me and I am in Him. And in that aspect, out of e pluribus unum, any man on this earth that is of the shard of the Most High, who is of the exact true biochemical being or duplication of the Most High, who has the chemical makeup, are able to obtain the ability to be a god. I'm trying to say this in a simple way possible to explain it to you. We are able to become a god because it means to have a mind that is capable of transcending past natural attributes and to display supernatural talents. It also means that you're able to become a supreme being. It means your being is not stagnant, because the Most High said He is a movable God. He is omnipresent. That means if we have a shard of Him, we are capable to be transcended or to transform into these things. That's why He said, be ye transformed and do not conform yourself to this world, because you will then be stagnated, and you will be in a mundane state. My apologies. I'm outside, sun gazing, and bugs everywhere. When I start speaking a word, I get so much love. Butterflies, beautiful things. Animals are friendly. It's just amazing. The wind blows hard when I'm speaking truth. All of the elements of the Most High, they will in unison applaud me or continue to help lead me in in the direction that I'm headed. Okay, so in the phrase E pluribus unum, they had us worshiping one God, in which the Most High is not a God. Let's get that clear. That's why there's an issue about who is God, what is God, which God is the true God, because there are so many gods, because gods are beings that have reached a certain attribute in life. The Egyptians knew this process that I'm speaking of. They knew how to transform and transcend. They knew that they needed to partake in the ascension process. They were aware of their surroundings. They knew the elements. They knew the sun and the moon. They knew to eat of the sun and the moon. They knew to drink of the sun and the moon. They knew how to worship. They knew to pray several times a day. They knew to meditate on the word daily. They knew to use the higher polarity energies such as joy, happiness, love, peace, patience, and speaking rightly to one another. They knew that the earth needed to be tended to. That's why he said that he placed Aduma, which is Adam, into the garden so that he may tend the garden and to tend to the earth as a gardener to take care of it, and his animals as well. Scripture says that he shall demand an accounting. He shall demand an accounting report be read off for him for those who have destroyed his animal and his creation, which is his animal and his people. He's going to demand an accounting of those beings that were murdered. We're not to eat of those beings. Those are rituals given to us by gods, but not by the I Am. There are specific scriptures that are spoken by the I Am, but there are many spoken by the E pluribus unum. So this is highly important. So let's get back on track. I wanted to explain that first of all. So the definition of a God: you are able to transform and not be conformed. That means not be a worldly being, but be a transcendent being that's able to obtain the ability to be a God. Because every animal breeds its kind. If the Most High begat us, if Mashiach was begotten by the Most High in human form, he still had the capability to transcend and transform into a God. See, the 144,000 know this. Okay, and again, 144,000 is the government and the militant of Yah. The militant and the governance of Yah, those who are the true priestess and priest, the holy men and women of Yah. These are male and female counterparts that are in witness and in duplication of the Aduma and the Awa aspect, which is Adam and Eve. Okay, so the two must become one. You must become empowered over your flesh. Once you have learned how to become empowered over your flesh, then you have to become one with it, to will your flesh into being, to will your flesh into perfection, to make your flesh at one is a hard process, but at the same time it's a simple process. And this process, it responds for you. It's the law of cause and effect. It's the law of polarity. It's the law of gender. All of those three would be implicated. It's also the law of transmutation of energy, using those universal laws that every element on earth had to abide by are the true divine laws of the Most High. Once you have willed your flesh into being, you no longer have to work so hard to not eat. Some people say, I'm trying to lose weight and I can't because I have these cravings, or I just can't seem to let go of meat. Or that's the animalistic part of you, becoming animal. Okay, now it's to become a being. You have been an animal for too long. not knowing how to fight against demons, not knowing how to speak a right word at the right time, not knowing how to manipulate certain elemental effects that are against you, the forces of evil that has been raised against you, that you have the capability to speak against into the atmosphere. These things are highly important. That's enough of a segment for today, and I will put more on this topic. I won't even say tomorrow, because normally when I say I'm going to keep videos coming, it's either business or ministry or counseling or something that is in priority in some ways. I wake up every morning and I do my reverence and prayers. I do my meditation, my sun gazing. I do my worship several times throughout the day to consistently stay at one with the Most High, because I am in Him and He is in me, and I owe Him, which is Him, and her, which is the counterpart of the Elohim, or what you know in Scripture as the Elohim, which was a male and female counterparts, because if we are a shard of Him, the female must become like the male, and the male must become like the female, and the flesh must become like the spirit, where it is not a hard work. Things will come easily to you. But in that aspect, if we are under the will of the I Am, which is the male and the female counterpart, the great God, or the Most High, because He's higher than a God, my apologies, then we must put the kingdom first in all things. And we have to remember that I counsel every frequency breaker of all kind right now in this moment and in this hour as I speak forth the truth unto the Most High's people. Okay, we have to remember that we owe a certain service or amount of time to the Most High. We have to keep ourselves at one, because if He is in us, we can't neglect the shard of Him that's within us. That is denying the self of Him. That is denying the self the opportunity to be divine. That is in disobedience, because we are not tending to the Most High's counterpart that's within our beings. And this is highly important. So I will continue this on another day, prayerfully soon. And I speak Nkolo amongst all the people, Nzolo and Salbona amongst all the people, that you go about your life in mindfulness of godliness, and not in mindfulness of being just a human. Humanity has been the downfall of the people. It's keeping you in the will of free will, and we don't have the free will. We are under the will of the Most High. It's keeping you connected worldly to the beings of the world and in reverence to their laws and precepts. And that's another discussion for another day. Until next time, be blessed, be in union with the Most High, and put the kingdom first.